Okay. All right. So I'm glad I went on pregame. You can hear me now. Thank you. Love you. Look, I'm glad I came on early for a little pregame talk. One of my law students came in. Hey, welcome in, Brother Antonio. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Yeah, I'm having a pregame rant. We're going to start the training right on time in the next 6 minutes. But I wanted to jump on here and have a pregame rant because I just got off the phone with one of my law students, one of the younger people that I do life with, that I mentor and teach in law and walk through life and law with. And I was very, very direct with my student, and she did not appreciate it. And so she let me know. She's like, the last couple of times we spoke, I don't really like how you speaking to me. And so we just got off the phone, had a little heart to heart about why I go so hard whenever I pick up on that familiar sound of somebody always doing me wrong. And for the benefit of people who have never worked with me behind the scenes, for the benefit of people who do not know me personally, who have never experienced the tenderness of me, because I'm so cutthroat when it comes to foolishness and things that limit you and rob you. I want you to understand I go hard on the areas that I've walked through. And so my sweetheart was going in on me like, I don't like how you talking to me. I don't like how you coming for me. And I had to put her in remembrance. Honey, I'm speaking to you in the version of me that was just like you. And I'm letting you know that I'm not playing this game with that version of myself. And I'm having a conversation with you that I learned how to have with myself to break cycles off of my life. So we did a little kiss and make up, a little hug. Shout out to one of my star students. I'll call you that, because you're out here, you're in the fight, you're applying yourself, you're trying to figure it out. And that's why I'm out here teaching foundations. That's why I'm out here teaching law. That's why I'm out here helping to bridge the gap between your understanding of your faith and accessing the power. When Christ said that you will live life and have life more abundantly, we need to be at the point where we begin to ask ourselves, is this the abundant life that Jesus promised? And if I am not experiencing the abundant life, why not? And when we get really good at examining ourselves, examining the way we think, examining the way we talk, examining the way we behave, examining the relationships that's around us, then we can begin to find the answer to why we're not living abundantly. So, yes, when I go in, I know it hurts your feelings. I know you don't like it. But I specifically am coming for your throat and I'm pulling your short hairs to wake you up out of a pattern that you may not be recognizing. It's tough love. Because one of the things that I learned after my mom died, and then my baby brother was gone 9 months later, the Holy Spirit revealed to me, you are no longer in a nurturing season. For you to grow and to mature in your walk, you need the discipline of your father. And that is a part of the big challenge that we're having with not having the the endurance to break these curses and keep these curses up off of us, is that we don't like discipline. We want somebody to hug us and kiss us and love on us all the time. But love don't always look like that. Sometimes love look like a belt. So I'm a little worked up before the class tonight, because I just got out of the ring with one of my sweethearts. And I love you, girl. And know this, I will fight for your tail. I will. I'll fight for your tail. Even when you can catch that little attitude. Felicia on here too. Felicia tell me almost every day, Felicia say to me, I cannot stand you. Don't you, Felicia? Please testify and witness to the chat. You tell, I hear from your mouth every week that you can't stand me. But yet and still, I get to witness your growth. I get to celebrate your wins. And I get to watch you shut down and take back territory from the forces of darkness because you said yes to discipline. So thank you for giving me that space and allowing me that. But yes, I go in on victim mentality because that is what I had to grow through. I had to stop being a victim. And we'll unpack that at some point in time in more detail. But now it's time for class. So shout out to the chat. Thank you for joining for class tonight. Felicia, I be coming for people edges. And you don't like it? I know you don't like it. But I love you enough to come for your edges. So the proverb says it's better to receive a hit from a friend than a kiss from an enemy. And that's why I ain't gonna tell you what you want to hear. So let's jump in there. Let's jump in. This is part 2 of unpacking and dealing with the curse of fatherlessness. The study notes that are provided here on screen are available to you in the Law for Love law library. You have to claim your library card to access the library, but it is totally free. Get your library card and check out our study resources, how to go and activate the power, the king's power, by understanding the king's law. We have books and we have other videos and links to books and the types of things to help you form the mind of the Messiah so that you can live the abundant life that was intended for you as a child of the King. So these notes will be available for you in the law library. And I'm starting off with Mahatma Gandhi's. Wait, hold on. I got the wrong notes up. I'm glad I changed the quote. Let me figure out how to stop sharing this and let me find the right notes. Boom. Mahatma Gandhi is the right notes. All right. So we're talking about the curse of fatherlessness, and this study is titled Divine Adoption. How to break the curse of fatherlessness off of your life and embrace unconditional love. Why are you passionate about this, Char? I am passionate about this because I was born into a fatherless situation. I was the product of unwed sex. My father died. My biological father died before I had any living memory of him. My stepfather and I had a very interesting relationship once I hit teenage, and there was a lot of back and forth and frustration and conflict between him and me because of my choice to become a mother at 14. And so fatherlessness is not only what I was born into, but it is also, just like every other generational curse, what my children inherited as a result of my repeating the same kind of behaviors that had me born into this condition. But we're going to talk about tonight how to remedy this condition by accepting a divine adoption. And Mahatma Gandhi, his quote here is literally like a mirror of what James was saying that we talked about last week when it comes to how do we treat the vulnerable, because that's what fatherlessness is about. It is societal vulnerability. It is the person who is easy to take advantage of. And the fatherless is a condition of deep pain and affliction. It's so much so that the father provides in the original law this standard of justice that requires them to be taken care of and considered because of their pain, their affliction, and their vulnerability. So Mahatma Gandhi, he's mirroring this kingdom principle with this quote. And we're going to review contract law to jump into this and unpack this, and it won't take very long. And I'm using visuals so that you can really understand and we can drive the point home that we're talking about contracts. When we are talking about spiritual cycles, when we are talking about generational curses, these things are contracts. It is rooted in contract law. And so you want to understand contracts. Contracts is just another word for relationship law. Thank you so much, Sister Cynthia. I appreciate you, sis. And welcome to the chat. So a contract is an offer, an acceptance, and an exchange of value. And I put a shortcut language in here, the meeting of the minds. We both agree. We're adding value, and now we have a contract. So when you have a yes plus a yes, and both sides are bringing value, now you are bound. And this again, I touched on this last week, but I'm going to say it over and over and over again for the religious folks in the back who did not catch it before. Walking around and saying you bind the devil is a misuse of the language. Bound is what happens when you are tied together in contract. I also want to review what we discussed in one of our introductory talks, that obedience is consideration for you to be bound in a blessing contract under the honor code, the 10 commandments, the king's promise to his people, the king's law of honor that governs all of creation, to be obedient to his honor code, to honor him and to honor your neighbor. Even in his code, if you want to get real deep, he even wants you to honor animals by not being cruel to them in the way you kill them to eat them. This is the honor code of the king, the creator, the most high. And when you add a yes to what his honor code is, his word, his kingdom, his way, his culture, then you are bound to a contract for blessing, which another word for blessing is prosperity. And let me show you the other kind of consideration that we bring, but we don't like to deal with it. And we like to blame God for punishing us and being mean to us. But what we're really getting is the automatic law that is locked in, whether or not you agree with the honor code. So when you bring a misalignment into the picture with your no to the honor code, with your disobedience to the honor code, with your rebellion against what the Father says things should be, now you are binding yourself to a curse. And I just saw my typo, but we'll fix it. I'm going to take a second here. I want to make sure that we all are on the same page with this foundation. Are you following me? Give me a 1 if this is clear. If you get it, okay, Char, I see how a contract is formed. I see how this law works. Can I have a 1 to let me know that you understand? Oh, I know my law. I know my law school boo got it. I see you. So, consideration of disobedience and rebellion, you bind yourself to a curse. And another word for this is poverty. It is so important for us to begin to understand that poverty is not just about money. Poverty is about relationships. Poverty is about health. If you are bound to poverty, your money looks funny, your relationships are whack, and you suffer in your body, your physical health, and your strength. This is the consequence of being bound to poverty through rebellion by disagreeing, misaligning, and rebelling against the king's offer to live according to honor and to be blessed. So, we also talked about self executing laws. Again, this is to address any idea or notion that God just sitting back with a belt, just hitting you and punishing you every time you do something wrong. No, this law is self executing. So when the vows were exchanged between the king and Israel in the wilderness, when that marriage happened, there was an exchange of vows. The king said to his bride, "These are the house rules. This is the honor code. If you align with the code of how I run my kingdom and how we do things in the palace, you will be blessed. If you rebel against it, you will be cursed." The bride stood there and said with one voice, "We agree to be bound." This covenant contains self-executing provisions of contract law. It's happening automatic depending on the kind of consideration, obedience or rebellion. They automatically result in blessing or curses, prosperity or poverty. It is automatic according to the covenant that was made at this wedding. So the first thing you want to do, you want to break your bad contract. One of the best examples that I love to use all the time, if you went on vacation and you paid for accommodations at a resort, spent a nice piece of money for it, and you get to the resort, the air conditioning doesn't work, the water isn't running in the bathroom, and the place is rat infested. You would want to get out of that contract with the resort, would you not? Would you stay in an arrangement that's not serving you? And if I know my people, if I know those of you who are anything like me, the first thing you're doing is you're getting the attention of management to either give you your money back and let you out of this contract, or to make this arrangement right with you. This is the process of revoking a bad deal. Anytime a contract is not serving us, we are automatically seeking, how can I get up out of this deal? So what is happening when you have this particular issue of fatherlessness? It kind of looks like this. There's this fake news, and there's always deception involved in a curse A curse always involves a deception. The fake news, oh, you're hopeless and you have no power. This is happening in your thoughts and in your emotions. The moment you agree or you accept this deception, then you are bound to this curse. You are bound to this victim role by accepting a lie. So you see the contract that creates the curse. Now you want to break this. In order to revoke, you have to say no to fake news. Contract law is very simple. Contracts themselves can be very complex, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. But contract law is very simple. You either say yes or you say no. Now, what's very important and what most people do not understand, you complaining about you don't like how it feels inside of your contract does not break your contract. It does not break your victim contract. And this is why so many people constantly complain about life's not fair and how hard things are, but things never change because they're still bound. They haven't done the work, which I call violence in the spirit. You have to violently reject any idea that you are anything less than a child of the King. You have to identify the lie for what it is, and you have to say, that is a lie. I do not agree with that. I'm not having that. When you do this in your thoughts, in your words, and in your actions, and you are aligned in integrity in rejecting a lie, that is when the chain is broken and you are free to enter into a new deal. So if anyone has ever attempted to buy a new house while they're still selling their first house, you may have experienced that you have to complete the sale on the first house, in many cases, unless you're a real estate investor, before the bank is willing to give you a second loan. They want you to take care of the first one. They want you to release yourself from the first obligation by selling your house and paying off that mortgage, and then they'll issue you a second mortgage. You want to be unbound. A lot of people want to say affirmations, write in their journal, do all these prayers, run around the church 7 times, get hit with the olive oil, fall out at the altar, all that stuff, but have not dealt legally with the contract by violently rejecting the lie. Do you see that? You have to get free from the curse before you can bind yourself to a blessing. It's just like being married. If you want to marry another person and you legally married to someone else, you cannot get a marriage license while you are still legally married to someone else. You have to be unbound so that you can go bind yourself to another. And this is how we do it. We violently reject the deception. I love you, Maya. Step 2, you want to form a new agreement with the truth. This is why your relationship with the scriptures is so important. This is why you need to develop a personal discipline with reading your Bible for yourself. This is why you have to learn how to walk through the scriptures in quiet time to digest the word of truth. Because if there is no truth inside of you, then what are you going to attach yourself to? You take the truth. The truth is that you are fearfully and wonderfully made, and that the King has wonderful plans for you. He has an expected end for you. His plan is not to harm you. Will you agree with him? Will you agree that he loves you? Because when you do, that is when you enter into a new deal. That is when you are adopted and accepted, and you have the confidence of being a child of your creator. I don't care if you don't know your daddy. I don't care if your daddy rejected you. I don't care if you don't know who your daddy is, or any of that. I don't care how much you may have been struggling with feeling accepted or rejected by your natural father, your biological father. When you say yes to the honor code, and when you accept the king's offer to adopt you from that broken and rejected and lonely place of being fatherless, you got a new deal. It's a confidence that it's a confidence like none other when you know that your father is the king. And that is what the offer is for anyone who has been afflicted with feeling like fatherless, vulnerable, thrown away, discarded, and without hope. So there's a third step. After you make your new deal, you're going to have to defend your position and hold your ground because, honey, when it comes to the familiarity of your experiences of being in poverty and attached to the impoverishment of your relationship with your creator, impoverishment of your relationship with your father or mother, but I am speaking specifically about fatherlessness tonight. Wherever you take ground and you receive insight and you accept revelation and you enter into a new deal, you are going to have to hold your ground. And I'm going to demonstrate this to you through one of Yahushua's teachings. I added my commentary in blue, but I copied this verse straight out of the King James Version, and I'm annotating it so that you can see the contract. This is a principle of spiritual warfare and what many believers understand as deliverance. And here, this is what Yahushua said: when an unclean spirit, and I'm saying deception, is gone from a man, from his beliefs, he, the deception, walks through dry places seeking rest. He's looking for agreement with another who will yield power, usually within the same family bloodline. And finding none, the deception, looking for a place where he can find agreement, he says, I will return unto my house whence I came out. Yahushua was letting you know right now, whatever you have fought and wrestled for in the past and you overcame, it's not done with you. It's coming back. You are going to be tried again because this familiarity is looking for agreement. So maybe it might not look like that last time you passed this test. It might be a different person or a different situation. It might be a higher level or more, or the stakes might be higher. But it's coming back to try you, which is why step 3 is hold your ground. Yahushua continues. I just got to get it to a size I can see it. And when he comes, the deception, he finds the mind, I should have annotated that, swept and garnished. unbound to the blessing of freedom by truth. When the deception comes back, he finds this person is not bound to truth. This person unbound themselves from the deception, but when the deception returns, there is no contract with truth. I hope y'all see this. Do y'all see this? I need a one. You see this? Verse number 26. Then goes the deception. Okay, you see it, Felicia? Okay. Hey, Brother Todd, Salama, brother. Then the deception comes back in 26 and sees that there's no contract with the truth. The mind is swept and clean. Oh, you overcame that. Oh, you realized that you had an addiction issue. Oh, you realized you had a gambling issue. Oh, you realized that this wasn't the way for you. So you went ahead and said, you know what? Okay, I'm done with late night snacking and eating potato chips until the middle of the night and sneaking snacks. But there's no new agreement with the truth. When the deception sees that there's nothing to prevent it from coming back, and takes to him 7 other spirits more wicked than himself. From a contractual standpoint, this is the compelling set of deceptive logic and convincing reasoning, also known as strongholds, layers of arguments, justifications. Oh, well, the creator made the crystals, so the crystals are for my good. Because everything that he made is good, so the crystals must be good. Sailor Moon. No, ma'am. But let me finish. And they enter into gain acceptance and agreement and dwell there in the thoughts, the mindset, the justification, the thinking. And the last state of that man is worse than the first. This contractually, this new contract with deception is much more complex to unravel and to renounce. Your mind is automatically looking for a reason to justify what it already wants to do that it knows is not right. And this is the battle of the mind. Because if I give you a compelling argument why you should do something that you know you shouldn't do anyways, and you be like, yeah, God made the crystals and everything. When he created everything, he said it was good. So if he made the crystals, then it was good for me to use the crystals in an evil way because it was good when he made it. Deception, deception, deception. The spirit world is the realm of thoughts. So we're not out here just fighting beings that we can't see. We're fighting the suggestions the same way Eve was deceived. We win or we lose in the place of the argument. Everything boils down to 2 trees in the garden. You can eat from the tree of life, the honor code, the king's law, his instruction, or you could eat from this other tree. You know a little good and you know a little evil. It tastes good when you eat it, but it tear your stomach up. And the choice we make according to whether or not we agree with the king, or we go and do what we want to do anyway and justify it in our mind. Your heart is your mind. It is the battlefield. It is the place of warfare. And this, we have two witnesses. I won't bother reading it here, but in Psalms and in Jeremiah, Proverbs, Solomon is saying, guard your heart, stand your ground. Your mind is where all your problems come from. The agreements you've made, the arguments you've raised to protect them is the source of your challenges in life. And Jeremiah comes behind and adds some more understanding by saying, yeah, your mind will trick you. Your mind wants what it wants. It will deceive you and it will talk you out of your contract with blessing so that you can feel good for a minute. Finally, in this study guide, I provided many declarations based off of all of these verses that talk about the love that the king has for the vulnerable and the fatherless. I want to encourage you, if you are ready to make a new deal, if you are ready to walk into divine adoption, if you no longer want to believe that you're helpless and you're hopeless and everybody out to get you and you out here fighting by yourself and nobody fighting for you but you, then you can begin breaking agreement with those limitations, no longer being vulnerable, no longer being out here without help, knowing that the king is your help. He's serious when it comes to you. This is a place where I know and understand so deeply. And when I was in agreement that I was out here by myself, when I was out here in survival mode, fending for myself, fighting for myself, and believing that I was completely forsaken and there was no one in my corner, I was in cycles of nonsense that wasted my time until I came into this understanding. And I have been tested over and over again. And that is why I want to encourage you. This ain't no crock pot deal. You do not set it and forget it. You are going to have to stand your ground. As a young woman, I had to deal with breaking this identity as a victim when it came to my parents. Then I had to break this identity as a victim when it came to my relationships with men. Then I had to break this victim identity when it came to my relationship with my husband. I am still being presented with the same deception every time I'm breaking through to a new level of understanding and authority. This test revisits me and I affirm my status as the king's child. And that's what I want to encourage you to do. Are there any questions? Did I lose you? Y'all church mouse quiet up in here. And I love contract law. So I pray that this blesses you and encourages you. Yes, Felicia, you nailed it. You can break up with the deception, but you have to be bound to something. So you break up with the lie and you bind yourself to truth. This is what Yahusha was illustrating to us in Luke. I want to encourage you to go and search it out. Test it and see if it be true. Don't take my word for it. And never take anyone's teaching on the Bible at face value without testing it for yourself and seeking partnership with the Holy Spirit to reveal the truth and to lead and guide you into all truth. I love you and I appreciate you. Thank you for joining me again for this legal training, breaking generational curses on my favorite topic, contract law. Putting contracts together with your faith unlocks the power of the kingdom. It's one of the keys to the kingdom that the Father wants each and every one of us to have. Y'all be blessed and encouraged.